Hi and welcome to a rainy down the shed. As you can possibly hear, it's absolutely peeing down. So on today's video, and I've got to sort this out later, I'm going to relay my desk. So as you can see, we've got a failed wireless microphone attempt in front of me, minus the circuit board. So we've got the basic tube, and the plan with this, on one of my few subscriber requests, he saw the video on this. It's an ex-customer of mine at Audi, or he's still a customer, I just don't work at Audi anymore. So what we're going to do is modify this so it basically has a few LEDs in there. So I'm just putting some charge into this, as you can see. I want to test whether my brand new, freshly in the letterbox, he says, looking for them, straw hat UV LEDs 5mm. So I've got 100 there, so there's 100 things I can do. Wow, they're 3 volts though, so they take some voltage, which is why I want to test them on this before I bung them in anything. Unfortunately, I haven't got Big Clive's ingenuity, knowledge and experience, so I can't start chucking resistors and stuff in there to do the correct whatsits, because I haven't learned that yet. I've only just about learned them. I've had to put, for when kits come with no instructions and the confidence weans, I've had to give myself a little. I've drawn on my cabinet simply a square pad with a plus in it, the diode LED symbol, and then a minus, so I can figure out anode, cathode, and plus minus, so I don't screw it up. So let's crack on and put the camera there, and let's start messing around with all this. Right, so the first thing we want to do is reopen this. Now this was a bit of a disappointment. It was a Poundland Powerbank, but the disappointment was the battery has actually been electrically welded, not soldered, welded to the tabs of the power supply. So we'll just unplug it in a minute. So there you can see the little circuit board is actually, I'll get you a bit closer. The little circuit board is mounted on top of the battery, and then the negative tab comes all the way down the side and then is electrically welded to the base. So we're going to try and keep all this circuitry in, and the plan is that won't slide up there. I could open that up a bit and slide it up the base, but even though I've got that switch in there, that might have to come out. Might have to change the switch. So if you can see this, you can't. There, you can just about see this silhouette of the switch in there. So the switch is going to have to come out. That never fit properly either. Let's see how, yeah, the battery will go in there, but the charge circuitry won't with the switch in place. So I'm thinking either relocate all the charge circuitry. Let's get that switch out. Right, so if we slide that in there, we get a lovely fit for the USB and the micro Android USB thing. So I reckon I should be able to plug this into here. Okay, some of the LEDs don't work on here, it was pretty crap, but the clock actually works. I need to put it back in its case. So we've got a working USB output. Now we need to check our input, so I can see a flashing red light in there. So if we glue gunk in the top there to seal that in there, and probably some in and around the battery in the switch area here, we've then got a designer USB charger. So instead of putting LEDs in the top, what I'm now thinking is to relocate the charge and use LEDs, put them in the top of the microphone instead of having them on the board down here. So there we have our okay, so that's a dual LED, isn't it? Basically I'm not going to get away with taking that off, or I could surface mount. What I could try is just I need to take a closer look at this under the magnifying glass. When that's charged, when that's in use, that goes blue. Or does it? I suppose when it's charged it goes blue. I thought it went blue when it was in use. It looked blue when it was inside the blooming case. Okay, so we might scrap that idea. I'll be back. Okay, now it's gone blue and it's staying blue. There's nothing even plugged into it. So let's plug the charger back in. Right, so if I plug my phone in, something that's actually going to put a bit of drain onto it, not like a clock, because that'll go out after. There we go. So we've got a dual LED, which is, let's zoom this in a bit. So I've got blue on this side. Unplug it, it stays blue for a while till it recognises there's no output. And if I plug this back in, that'll swap over to the other side and flash red. So we've got a dual LED. I need to take a look at that. Okay, I don't know if the camera can pick it up, but that's actually, there we go. That's actually two separate LEDs. So I should be able to remove them off the board and wire in two separate LEDs and run them up just a bit further to the microphone head. Zoom this out a bit. So what I was going to do, I've just drilled a small hole into the side of here, and I was going to put the LEDs in there like that and then bend them where I wanted them, but this comes really close to the top of the mic. So what I'm going to do, I can't remember which is plus or minus on that one now, is I'm going to solder on to that terminal that's still there. All the negatives are going to go onto that, and then I'll just bend the LEDs, because this comes right up almost touching like that. I'll bend they'll be about here, so I'll bend them so I'll have two on each side, one for charge and one for use, and then they'll just shine whichever side's working. So let's get on with that. Right, so far we've got, ooh, I'll find the shot. There we are. Right, so far we've got two green, two red LEDs soldered onto here. I've just see if I can get it close up. I've soldered all 4 negatives, don't know whether you can see it, into that battery terminal, and the positives have just been soldered together out of the way on either side. So I'll just run a couple of cables. Well, I'll have to run 4 cables because each LED is separate and I don't want to bridge the minuses just in case. So I'll run 4 wires into off of here down onto where the LEDs are on here when we find it. So I'll run 4 wires off of these LEDs up to the gadget we've made, and then basically we'll have remote LEDs from the board, and we can slip all this into the microphone container, seal it down, glue everything together, and we've created ourselves a DIY Swish microphone novelty battery boost pack, and it's cost us like £1.50, £2 for the microphone kit. That was a failure. We've still got the body of the microphone. I'd pay £50 for that just to knock out novelty microphone chargers. I mean, I'd have to do slightly better with the top than that, obviously, but other than that, I mean, if you bought that for £3 on a car boot or something, you wouldn't be overly disappointed. It still do the job, and it's still a bit of a novelty. So let's crack on. Okay, so what I'm actually going to do is remove these 3 screws, and we're going to go inside because we need to anyway, so I might as well do it on this video and then use the parts for the next video. The illuminated, watch your eyes, wipe out the illuminated parts bin. Well, that was quite tight, she said. So that's connected to this terminal there and this terminal here. So we'll slide that all out somehow. So there we have our chip on board. There was about, I could see them, don't know if you can see them, you could then. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 individual LEDs in there. So part of my plan was to resmount this, but the way I was going to do it has been thrown out of the window by the virtue of the fact this board ain't quite what I was hoping for. So I need to have a think. We've got 1 resistor, 1 little controller there. That obviously controls the flash, the brightness. 2 tabs there, I'm guessing they're power because 1 goes straight to battery plus. The other 1 goes to the chip. Battery minus goes into the switch. It seems to go straight under the switch actually. Goes to the resistor. Resistor goes back to the switch. Can't see a lot on here. And we've just got some sort of heatsink plastic, aluminium panel. So I'm wondering, can I remove the switch and add it onto here, but I'd have to put wires going through. This is a problem. Okay, I need to have a bit of a British engineering think about this. Right, we've now got the bare board, which an extreme bright light warning. This is awesome on an 18650. Look at that, that's amazing. So that's going to be inside this. Actually, even better idea. Okay, the ideas are evolving. So the bit that would have held the microphone in and the battery for the original mic project actually makes quite a cool stopper. There's a little amount, probably about 3 or 4 mil of play in there. So I need to make some sort of pad to sit on there just to press against the 18650 inside here. So we've actually got the, let's plug that in a minute. We've actually got the USB in and out for a power bank. So we'll have a power bank on this. If we connect directly off the battery so we can charge it up again, solder off these two pad here and probably off the negative terminal actually, positive even, we can take our power supply from the battery direct and then just recharge the battery from the USB. So this will all be neatly compacted in here. The plan is to get a glue gun in and just get glue, pack it in a bit around there. We'll whack some in down around here. This will then pad up against it. I'll probably, because that did go straight up there, so I'll probably have to cut this back a bit so it presses up against the board and just holds it in place. The only thing then we've got to figure out is getting around that switch. So I'm going to go and do, I've got a kit that I could cannibalize it from. That leaves me short of switch. Right, thought process. Okay, so what we've got is a momentary switch, micro switch there with 2 wires soldered on. I've soldered on a cable to the main board, which has also got its own switch still built in. That's going to the battery, so we can still charge it via the rear port, and we've got the switch up in the actual original microphone switch location, so that's a bit novel. All I need to do now is refit this back onto there, which unscrew this. That's going to be fun. Yeah, that is going to be fun. Lost track. Yeah, fit the circuit board, which I might have to desolder because I haven't put this in here, and it's not going to, yeah, might be fun. Might get away with it. But we'll do that now while I chat away. So I need to solder the 2 wires from the switch that I'm putting in. Oh, what have I done here? There we go. These 2 wires need soldering onto the board, so we'll do that once I've sorted the grill out. And then I need to glue the board into the microphone head. That will need gluing onto here. This will want gluing into there. I think I've lost a bit of debris with the on-off switch. Yeah, it's been well lost since. Sadly, that would have been quite novel to put that back over the top of the switch. Never mind. And then she's good to go really. Some glue into there, push that back into position. Ooh, pushed it out already. See if we can get that back out again. I can always just plug the thingies in when I whack the glue gun in there. So I said we'll do this on here. So So that needs to go onto there. That doesn't really need gluing in actually, because top one does. That one was just kind of friction. This one should just get held in by that being screwed down. So that's that half. So it's literally now that in there, those onto there, that down onto there, and glue the rear terminals in. So I'll be back in a moment. Okay, so I've finished the torch, microphone, power bank. So there we have the, I need to stand up so I can see the screen. So there we have the USB in and out. We've got the little switch that is shining in, that's glued in. And then there's the circuit board, which has been just glued on the corners into there. So if we activate the switch, and it will work as a power bank and a USB out. So it's a rechargeable torch, it's a power bank. I think that board slipped already. Well, I think the board might have slipped already, but we'll see how it goes, as long as it's not flapping around or anything. So I think that'll be fine. Could just be the way it's been glued in. We'll see. Anyway, so I think that's a little bit of a, let's turn all the lights in here out. Oh, I see, the camera lights put the, right, one moment. Right, so all the lights are out. That's on main beam. Then that's low power and flash. So all in all, that's a pretty good light, just for in the shed, in the garden, on the car. In fact, that would be pretty awesome for the car. If you're a DJ, you could use this for hunting your records or charging your phone. So like the video, this is how you turned a failure into a success. Good bit of British down the shed engineering. We've taken some old parts, we've taken a battery module, Poundland style battery power bank, a failed microphone kit, a switch from some other failed project, and some wires from an old USB cable that's broken, and we've turned all that with a Poundland cob headlight. We've turned all that into a novelty USB power bank torch. Happy days. See you in the next video. Okay, so here's the finished item. So I've glue gunned in and around the sockets. So there we have the power bank, output and input, charging and power out. You can just about see the lights through there as well to show it's charging or whatever. We've got a momentary microswitch on there. It's been glue gunned in, so there's the battery underneath it. And then we've hot glued the circuit board with the cob on top. So I'll put this to one side when I illuminate it. So there we've got the two power levels and the flash. So that micro switch has got one side I've wired two wires on, and it goes diagonally off the micro switch in there. So I've actually left the switch on board, so I could put that back together theoretically. But yeah, everything's just been soldered onto it. So all the power's there straight off the 18650. So basically once it goes flat, you just recharge it off the USB. And it just looks a bit sort of like a novelty microphone really. It's not until you sort of pick it up and start buggering around with it that you realise what it is. So I hope you like the video. Subscribe to the channel. I'll be building more cheap Chinese kits, Velleman kits, and knocking out weird shit like this. Thanks for watching.